Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're viewing from. I'm Laura Thompson with TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach, and you're tuned into the coffee break. And so I was just sitting here minding my own business, and I glanced up and saw a dear friend of mine that I hadn't seen in years, Patricia Adams. So how you doing, Pat? I call her Pat.
You too. And you're one of the few people allowed to call me Pat.
I know this. I remember you used to say Patricia.
Yeah, I did. But when I was in middle school, they used to call me Pat the Water Rat. And so I said, what? I'm a grown woman. I'm just going to tell people to call me Patricia, Dr. P. They call me the hat lady at church. Anything but Pat.
Right.
But you, girl, you can call me Pat as much as you want.
Wow, but you did correct me
one
before,
time.
Yeah.
One time.
And then you gave me permission.
I did.
So I love Patricia Adams. And she's going to, before we get started with the interview, can you just give us a little bit of information about who you are, where you're from, what you do, why you do it, all of those good things?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I've been in San Antonio for 38 years now, married to my first husband, father of our 4 beautiful children, and the grandfather to the 2. And I am a practicing licensed marriage and family therapist, and I own a psychiatry practice in San Antonio called Zeitgeist Wellness Group. We love San Antonio. As I said, 38 years, champions that we are. And now here we are today talking about what I love to talk about the most, and that's mental health and wellness. And I'm so glad that we've reconnected again so we can have this conversation today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I love Patricia Adams.
Right.
She brings a lot of energy, to whatever she does. And she brings a lot of energy into the room. She's small in stature, but when she walks in, you can feel the presence of her. And I like that about you. I know when I was familiar with you before we reconnected, you used to, and I don't know if you still do, but you used to have work a lot of contracts and was always very, very busy. Wow. And I was fortunate just to get a hello. So tell us a little bit about, what you've done and what's led you to what you're doing now.
Well, back some 20 years ago, my husband and I started Zeitgeist Expressions, Inc.
Okay.
And we were in the government contracting space, which we still are. So we had government contracts all over. We went to Alaska, Hawaii, Colorado. That was going to be, it still is, where we'd like to retire, of course, and come back to San Antonio as much as we can. But we were introduced to government contracting by the SBA. And one day somebody said, did you know that you could have therapists and doctors and psychologists work for you? And I said, no way, I am a marriage and family therapist. And they said, no, you're a businesswoman. So I took that and the energy that is required to learn how to bid and to bid correctly and how to price a proposal and how to encourage people to come and work for you when they're like, what? What are you talking about? Because we really didn't understand what we were doing in the beginning and how to explain it. But of course, as time grew, we grew and the practice grew and the business grew. And now we branched out into a nonprofit organization so that we can bring LPC associates, those who aren't independently licensed yet, into the practice because nobody wanted us to have a for-profit and be working with people that were not independently licensed yet. So now we're mentoring psychiatric NP students as well as licensed professional counselor students, LMFTs, licensed marriage and family therapists, as well as LCSW. So it's really a counseling psychiatry brand as well as a business brand. So the business brand is Zeitgeist Expression, Inc. The counseling business is Zeitgeist Wellness Group, and the nonprofit is HIP, Healthy Innovative Processes. So people ask me, do you ever go to sleep? And I say, yeah, about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, because I'm really tired. But I get up early every morning and start the day thinking about who do I need to call, where do I need to call, who do I need to go visit. So we're still just having fun. And when I'm not having fun anymore, I'm going to stop and I'm going to sell the Zeitgeist Expressions piece, which is the wellness group. And then my husband and I will just travel, visit our grandkids, and be mentors. We love mentoring. As a matter of fact, on Thursdays, every third Thursday of the month, we do 2 mentoring groups that are free of charge about how to get into this space of state and government contracting as well as corporate. We meet at a facility that's granted us some space, which is really nice at I-10 in 1604. So we have two groups. We have one that's face-to-face, because really touching people is important, and I mean literally touching, reading that proposal and showing them how to do that. And then as well as we have a online group, because we have people in that group from Arizona, ATL, Colorado, Arizona, because they've heard about us and said, can you teach us how you did what you do? And I said, yes, of course.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's phenomenal. So how did you get to where you are? How did you decide that, I want to serve people in the mental health space or the counseling space?
Well, I was an X-ray tech in the very beginning.
Okay.
And as an X-ray tech, I had to take good pictures and give it to the doctor. And we didn't know what happened. Our job as X-ray technologists was to take a good picture, send it on down the line. And I started listening to talk radio, and I heard this guy. He said the rest of the story. His name was Paul Harvey. You probably remember the name. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't know the rest of the story. So let me change careers so I get the rest of the story. And now I know all the story. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
That's how I got involved. Thought I wanted to be an RN, and I didn't get into UT Health Science Center as quickly as I wanted to, the nursing program. So my husband said, why don't you do counseling? You love to talk to people. And I called my dad up on the phone. He was a chaplain. He was a counselor. And I said, Dad, what do you think? He said, that'd be perfect for you. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. So I jumped into my bachelor's in psychology and worked my way through the master's. And as soon as you finish one degree, they say, well, you're going to need the next one. I'm like, listen, I'm too smart now to go to school, as I tell people. And I don't mean smart. I'm just too smart to put that energy on my body. Mm-hmm. And so I've gotten to the place where I'm very satisfied with my education. I can teach people that you don't have to go straight through.
Right.
And so I took the long route, associate to bachelor's, bachelor's to master's, master's to doctorate. And so now I'm too smart to do anything else. I don't think there's anywhere else I can go.
Right.
But that's how I got here today.
Wow.
Just following my heart, following my passion, listening to mentors, becoming a mentor, becoming a leader, becoming someone who likes to speak and enjoys the interaction with so many people. That's why I have so many titles. Dr. P, Hat Lady, all that. Mommy, right, Gigi. That's what my grandson calls me, Gigi. That's a delight to be a grandmother. So yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you just by happenstance,
really, yeah,
decided to go into counseling,
exactly,
and psychiatry. And so, what is your favorite thing about?
My favorite thing is couples therapy. Mm-hmm. Watching the shift. And one of the things I tell people nowadays is, love is, this word we just use, right? Mm-hmm. So we operationally define the word in my practice. So we take the letters of the word and I define what love means to me, right, using the L, the O, the V, and the E. You define it as well, my husband, Love. So then we switch papers and then we start loving each other the way it makes sense to the other person. Right. Because I might be loving you and you're like, well, that doesn't mean anything to me. And I can tell you right now, I've been there 38 years, right? Wow. Bringing me a cup of coffee is not love to me, but saying you're sorry immediately after you hurt my feelings, because you've been around me for a while, you knew that would hurt my feelings. You've had an encounter with something like that before. So you can go get the coffee all you want. I don't even drink coffee. Go get me the tea from Starbucks, honey citrus on the grande side. That's right. Listen, but if you say you're sorry, really quick, I'm so happy.
I know,
so right? I started telling people, love somebody the way it makes sense to them. Mm-hmm. You're not hurting them, but it would be a compliment if you just become just into them. Wow. Do what they need. It's counterintuitive to people because I want to love you the way it makes sense to me. But if you read the book, The 5 Love Languages, your love language is probably not mine, and mine is definitely not yours, because my husband is an acts of service kind of guy, and he loves serving people. Mine is really words of affirmation. So you can serve me, you can do all those things, but when you say you're sorry, I heard what you said, and I really like the fact that we're having this deep conversation. Oh, I'm in heaven.
No, she's like,
you see what I'm saying?
Come on.
Yeah. But he's like, okay, I'm like, can I do? No, I don't really need that. I can.
My own coffee.
I can. I got it on my card. You know what I'm saying? But if you say you're sorry, like, woo, Jesus, I'm just as happy as I can be. So that's what I like about couples, is really seeing that switch. Like, yeah, it's yeah, yeah. Wow, that's the favorite part for me.
So what is your focus right now?
The focus right now is all of the above. And when you're a business person, you have to know the left brain, the right brain side of yourself, and the middle. Certainly, we've evolved. We have team members that lead the different programs that we run. And I tell them, I can't know everything like before. So I need your brain to be sharper than mine. I need you to work 10 paces in front of me, because if you don't, I'm just going to pass you up, and then I'm not happy when I have to do that. So I know it all. I mean, I know all aspects of my business. I know how it runs. I know what it needs to run. But I do have to step back and say, hey, you want to take the wheel on that? I'm going to give you a chance to do that. But if you don't match the energy that I need from you, I can't. We work a 32-hour week now. I want to say that to people. It's so important for those of us who are engaged in mental health to understand that the vicariousness of what we do rubs off into the team members that we work with. So even the folks that answer the phone, sometimes they're stressed because the person on the phone is stressed. Even the person who manages the money is sometimes stressed because so-and-so said we overcharged them their copay, or we didn't put it on the FSA card, we put it on this card. You get enough, they're stressed. So our team members work now Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 1 hour for lunch. And people say, well, I'm not making enough money. We will pay you relative to what you output for us. But we do know that you need that fifth day to be off, to be with your family, to be alone. If you have children that are in school, isn't it nice to be able to just
pick them up?
Yeah. Or date your husband during the daytime like we used to. We couldn't wait till they went to school. Like, let's go to the movie, let's go to brunch. And you know what married people do. We ain't going to talk about it on this show. But we're like, woo, we got some time by ourselves. We had to rush home and then drop them off to the babysitter and go out to eat and be so full and can't even enjoy one another because we're still tired. So our team members, I want to say that on camera, our team members love the fact that they work Monday through Thursday and they're off on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They love it. And that was one of the biggest things that we did for the staff. You say, well, even the business development, oh yes, everybody needs a break. So although they work 32 hours, they're paid like they work 36.
Wow.
So then they get that benefit. And I get the benefit of people who are sharp, who appreciate the fact of having that time off, who value family, who value community. It's been the best thing that we've done. We've been doing that now for 5 years.
Wow, that's awesome. Because frankly, customers or patients, they don't understand that you're stressed. They expect for you to be, they don't understand that you're human, I don't think. And so they have high expectations of service, whether they give you a bad attitude or whatever or not. So it's...
You know what the preachers say about things like that? Stop meddling. But when you're telling the truth, it really is the truth. Mm-hmm. And you are right on point with that. And so, again, that's why we give them that fifth day off so they can rejuvenate and come back to work on Monday with a clear mind, a clean heart.
Wow, that's awesome. So do you still counsel, or what do you do in the business?
Again, all of the above. I counsel Monday, Tuesday. Monday, I do face-to-face all day. Tuesday, I do telehealth because that's very, very popular since COVID. Wednesday, I'm developing the business still. Going to meetings. I'm on some boards, blah, blah, blah. Thursday is my group. And then during COVID, I started tap dancing. I said I wasn't going to do it on camera for y'all, but one day we'll invite my team back and we'll do some tapping for y'all. But I needed something that was fun for me. And so I joined this tap group during COVID. I've never tapped before in my life. Wow. And I did my second recital 2 weeks ago. We danced to
recitals.
Yeah, girl. I got my shoes on and show the video to my daughters. They're like, Mommy, that's a beginner's class. Well, I'm a beginner, but at least I'm on point. I'm not messing up. I had so much fun with this group. And we meet every Thursday from 1 to 3:15. Our age group is 50 and above. Wow. Our oldest team member in our dance class is 81.
Really?
And she's been tapping since she was 5.
Oh, she's out tapping y'all.
She is out tapping me for sure. But I'm on point. Right. So I love to just, it's a stressful business. Any kind of business is stressful. But to be able to put those shoes on Thursday afternoon and practice and go have dinner or coffee with these ladies, tea. Mm-hmm. I don't drink coffee. Tea afterwards. It's a lot of fun.
Wow.
And every year we dance. Well, every year I've been dancing with them at our recital. We always pick up some more tap members because somebody's telling them, you can do it. And one little boy, after this last one 2 weeks ago, he said, Mommy, that's the lady that was on the stage in the back. And she said she's going to come because her kids are in school. We tap during the daytime because many of them are retired. I'm not yet. We are having so much fun.
Wow.
And I always wanted to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to tap. My dad bought me some tap shoes, but I never put them on.
Well, you can put them on now. We got you.
Wow.
Yeah. We start with a shuffle hop step. We start with the simple steps, and next thing you know, you're grooving to the beat of the music. And when you're dancing, it just, one of the ladies in the class, it takes you away. She said it staves off the Alzheimer's. That's what she says, because you're concentrating on, I got to do this move, I got to do it this way. But it's a lot of fun.
Wow.
And at this stage in my life, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
Wow. So Pat is a real phenomenal businesswoman. I've always admired your work. I didn't really understand some of the things that you do in your business, so I'm glad that you came on and we have an opportunity to talk about it. Yeah. And so it's Mental Health Awareness Month in May. Yes. And then in June, the men finally got a day. Yeah, right. It's the mental health. No, a month. They got a month. Okay. All right, men, brothers. Right. Yeah. So it's Mental Health Awareness Month for men in June. Yes. So I'm gonna bring my husband with me. He'll talk about the men. But we label so many things as mental health. We really do. And in our practice, we work on the bell-shaped curve. So there's a severe on this end, the 2% over here. Mm-hmm. And then you have the 2% over here just struggling, can't decide what to do. How should I go? Maybe some coaching would be it. But we put so many things on the auspice of mental health. Mm-hmm. And we really are in the middle on the bell-shaped curve. We deal with the generalized anxiety, moderate to major depression. Of course, we do see some PTSD. We live in San Antonio. We have a very large military retirement community. So we do see those in the middle of the bell-shaped curve. Mm-hmm. But we're not on the extremes like the Center for Healthcare Services or the crisis care centers. We deal with the middle of the road population, and we've been in it for over 20 years. Wow. So in some sense, I tell people we're just in the middle. I wouldn't call us a foo-foo practice. I was going to say that. And I teach people to practice the half a second rule. So I heard my brain saying it. And I thought, no, you don't need to say that. But we'll get to that on one of our shows. But we're right here in the middle. We take insurance. We take some private pay because we work with the students that are associates. So we're in the middle of the road private practice with psychiatry, medication management now. Wow. Yeah. So if someone wanted to get in touch with you for services, what services can they expect to find on your website? Sure. Counseling for individuals, for couples, for seniors. We have a lot of referrals from the large medical practices that service seniors. So we do see seniors. We see EAP, Employee Assistance Program, for folks who gone to work and they're just stressed and their employer has packaged the Employee Assistance Program for them, so that's free services for them. So individuals, couples, families, group therapy. We wrote a book called The ABCs of Change. We'll talk about that at some point in time. The city is helping us to disseminate that information. So cool. And then again, our seniors. So we're totally spectrum oriented right now, from I would say birth to from cradle to yeah, that one. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. And we have therapists that meet those needs because we are the same. Mm-hmm. So I started out, I was young and dumb, as they say, but now that I'm old and wise, I feel very wise now in my practice. And so we can meet all those needs. If you want somebody to see your adolescents, we have that. Young couples, older couples who, struggling with different things that a young couple's not, people that may be considering divorce, we have services for them as well as our seniors. So, yeah, we cover the spectrum. That's phenomenal. I was just thinking about aging, and like when I go to the grocery store in the area where I live, it's a scary thing to see the aging process.
And when your children don't live here, you know, that becomes even scarier. Or when you don't live close to mom, that becomes scarier. So televideo helps meet the needs somewhat in that sense. I can go to a televideo visit with my mom, whether it's her cardiologist or her, and you know, take your mom to the doctor day, those things. So we embrace those cultural things that have been included into our senior population. So
wow,
yes.
That's awesome. So it's been such a pleasure. And I'm excited to reconnect with you, and I'm glad we had an opportunity to talk today, but we're going to talk some more.
Thank you.
And so you've been tuned into the
TAAN.
Coffee Break on TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with the global reach, and we've been here with the amazing Patricia Adams talking about her counseling practice. And so we're gonna come back again because we have a lot to talk about, a lot more. So thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Right. And you look good in your orange.